Merry Christmas Parade watchers, and welcome to a new history video. As today, we'll be looking into our third and final bear, all the way from London, as of now. And that is, Paddington Bear. Created by author Michael Bond, Paddington has become a cult icon in the UK. From the amount of books, TV shows, and even to theatrical featured films. But now, let's look at his visit in America, when he was a giant balloon, and a falloon, as a bonus, in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Paddington Bear made his parade debut in 1990 as a falloon, which is a combination of a float and a balloon that's filled with cold air instead of helium. With Eden Toys as his sponsor, the design shows him wearing a holiday outfit instead of his typical outfit, with his coat is red and his hat is green. But he carries his iconic suitcase, which says, "Please look after this bear, thank you." Not only Paddington Bear was one of the first balloons to be introduced in the parade's history, but he was also named Macy's Holiday Ambassador of 1990.
Wow, if that's not a great introduction to what's coming next, I don't know what is. Coming in now to the tune of those nursery rhymes is a special favorite of mine and probably everybody. This lovable bear has been a feature in the parade in years past, but this year, Paddington Bear, which is furnished by Eden Toys, is making his first appearance as a falloon, and that's a float that's a balloon.
I like that. I mean, unlike me, he's filled with cold air, not hot air.
You said it, Willard. I didn't.
See what happens here.
Okay, we trade hats.
What do you think? Do I look like him at all?
Well, no, in a word.
I figured that.
Paddington's not wearing his usual colors of blue and gold. Today he's got on his holiday finery. And who wouldn't want to, as the tag on Paddington's coat always says, "Please look after this bear, thank you." Why, there's somebody who's looking after Paddington already.
The amazing Radio City Music Hall Rockettes, impressionist Fred Travalena, and Barry Manilow sings a song for Christmas when our parade continues.
Next up was in the 65th anniversary parade in 1991.
There's my old friend Paddington Bear, who arrived in England with a note tied around his neck which read, "Please look after this bear." And he was immediately adopted by a loving family and thousands of readers. Dressed up for the holiday, this whimsical bear, furnished by Eden Toys, is making his second appearance in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. In the 1920s, live bears and tigers and lions, oh my, marched down the parade route, but instead of delighting the children, they made them cry. That's when Macy's decided to try out the balloons, and a tradition began.
Then, in 1992.
I'm sure Babar will send you a note because elephants never forget. Don't you love Paddington? Oh, look at him smile. He comes down our parade route today as a falloon. A falloon, you know what that is? That's a balloon riding on a float. In rehearsal, I found out that. Furnished by Eden Toys and dressed in his holiday best, this endearing bear is named after Paddington Station in London, you say. Perfect day for it because it's foggy and rainy here, you know?
Stay tuned for Chris Burke of Life Goes On and the Rock and Trolls shake up Herald Square when our parade continues.
After the 1992 parade, he was retired. But then he came back in 1997, in preparation for the Bears' 40th anniversary in 1998. With Copyright America as his sponsor. However, high winds were expected throughout the parade route. And there was an accident from an oversized balloon, a few miles near the starting line. Since Paddington was the last balloon in the parade. But, since he was a falloon and not a helium balloon, he would still continue in the parade route. Another falloon that was still in the parade after the accident was Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, which made its parade debut that year. But then at Times Square, a gust of wind tipped Paddington over, which almost got him deflated. But since the balloon was made out of cold air instead of helium, he had enough air to stand back up again, at Herald Square.
beginning to look a lot like Santa. Also on an adventure from his home in England, it's the return of Paddington. One bear and each child would love to make up and have it there on Christmas morning right by his bed. Paddington's furnished by Copyright America. And for that story down on the street, here's Katie Curran.
Thanks, Willard. The story goes the Brown family found him in London's Paddington Station, tagged with the message, "Please look after this bear. Thank you." And thank you, Michael Bond, for creating the hugely huggable Paddington back in 1958.
Of course, when Paddington is hungry as a bear, he doesn't necessarily yell, "Show me the honey!" I'm sorry I did that. What's his favorite food, you ask? But you asked a little too late. Marmalade sandwiches. Yum.
Well, the elves along the parade route confirmed.
After the 1997 parade, the falloon was officially retired, making a total of appearances of 4. Now this iconic British character would not be seen in the parade for years, until 2014, when he was brought back to promote his first theatrical motion picture, Paddington, which was out in theaters in the UK at the time, but it was scheduled to be released worldwide, including America, in January 2015. But this time, Paddington Bear would be a giant helium balloon, with now the defunct movie company called the Weinstein Company as his sponsor. This time, Paddington is back in his normal version, wearing his iconic blue coat, tipping his red hat, and of course his suitcase. But this time, what he looks like in the movie.
Look at him. We tip our hats now to this 6-story tall balloon joining the parade for the very first time. Here's Paddington Bear. It's in the shape of one of the most recognizable characters in children's literature, and he's bustling down the parade route to announce that this January, the Weinstein Company will premiere the movie Paddington, the Bear's first feature-length film in theaters.
Well, right now he's practicing for his arrival down the red carpet, sporting, of course, a red hat, a blue button-down coat, and carrying his signature brown suitcase, which he always brings along with him on his adventures.
Macy's has...
Then came 2015 to promote the home media release of Paddington.
All right, with a tip of his famous hat to the throng of fans below, Paddington Bear enjoys a morning stroll down 34th Street. At 60 feet tall, it takes 70 balloon handlers to help Paddington keep under control. He wears a stained red hat and a worn blue coat. He lugs a suitcase that is the size of a 2-car garage.
So do I. Paddington, the Bear's first feature film by the Weinstein Company, is currently available on Blu-ray. Now, as a major movie star, Paddington must hustle away, hiding his face from the paparazzi.
Well, on the road again and on the roll again is this pull toy train of 3...
Last up was 2016, in preparation for Paddington 2. Set to be released in November 2017 in the UK, and January 2018, for the rest of the world.
And now all the way from his home in London, heading down 34th Street for his third Thanksgiving parade, is the marmalade-loving bear Paddington. So, not to be confused with any other famous bears, Paddington wears his well-known red hat and blue duffel coat. He also carries an old brown suitcase with his initials inscribed right on the side.
Paddington is tipping his hat, and thanks to the folks who went to his first movie, launched last year, and they'll be happy to know that Paddington 2 will be coming soon to theaters everywhere.
Country music duo Maddie and Tay, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade continues, live on NBC.
After the 2016 parade, the helium balloon of Paddington was retired, making the mandatory appearance of 3. Now I think we all know for a fact why he didn't came back in 2017. So Paddington Bear made a total of appearances of 7. Before I end this video, I wanted to thank you all for watching these 25 episodes I made this year, on talking about these iconic characters in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The movie will come back next year, but it will be for a while until we get back to Thanksgiving season. But now, since we're coming to an end of another year, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you in 2024.